Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, we're taking a look at the all-new 2022 Ford F150 Lightning and stacking it up against its gasoline brother of the F150. So huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing both of these trucks for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That link is down in the description below. But let's get into it. Gasoline versus electric, here we go. And to start off today's comparison, let's take a look at what powers the gasoline version for the F150. This particular model has the 5-liter V8, which pumps out 400 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. You can opt for a 3.5-liter EcoBoost, which makes 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. And then the 3.5-liter EcoBoost high output pumps out 450 and 510 pound-feet of torque. So really configurable, just depending on what you'd like to use your F150 for. Over on the F150 Lightning, as you can tell, there is no engine up front. You get a really nice cargo area though for additional storage, and there are two different options that you can go with for this Lightning. You can get the standard range or the extended range. We are looking at the extended range right now, which gives you dual 131 kilowatt motors, pumping out 580 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque. That is all-wheel drive. This truck here is rear-wheel drive, of course. We do have the four-wheel drive system though. Over on the Lightning, it is just full-time four-wheel drive. And with the gasoline version for the F150, this has several different curb weights, just depending on the configuration that you go with. We have a crew cab in front of us with the shorter bed. It's going to weigh in right around 5,000 pounds. Do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds with a top speed of 130. And as far as the MPG goes, it's around 16 miles per gallon in the city and 22 out on the highway. Very similar for the EcoBoost engine as well at 16 and 20. Over on the F150 Lightning now, this weighs in between 6,400 and 7,000 pounds, just depending on if you go with the standard range or the extended range. This will do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, top speed of 110, and you're looking at around 78 miles per gallon electric in the city with 63 out on the highway and a total range of 320 miles. And the last spec to go over is all of the dimensions. These trucks are very, very identical in their overall length, wheelbase, height, and even their width. So they are pretty much the exact same truck, minus being electric and gasoline. So as we work our way to the exterior styling now, you can tell they are very, very similar. The major differences for the Lightning is the fact that the grille does not have any cutouts. You do not need all of that extra cooling for the electric batteries. You do need some cooling, however, so there is a small cutout in the lower section as well as right in the middle. And then this still has the same active grille shutters in the lower section to provide cooling to those front components as well. But it retains a very, very similar design, especially with that cutout right in the middle of the bumper there. Now, we do not have the same trim levels. This is a Platinum, this is an XLT, so they are going to be a little bit different. This is the only F150 gasoline version that I had to check out for today's video. So you can get the idea of both of them. On the Lightning, this does have a forward-facing camera. Obviously, with the Platinum version, you can get a forward-facing camera as well. So you'll see some minor differences here and there, but the overall design for the Lightning versus the gasoline version, very, very similar. You can get parking sensors as well. They both have a lower air dam, very, very similar style to them. And then as we move on to the side profile now, you'll see over on the Lightning, much, much larger wheels compared to this particular F150, and it sits a little bit higher as well. They both have a trim piece just behind the fender arches. We have F150 obviously, and then F150 Platinum. For this electric model though, you can actually open up that trim piece. This is how you can plug it in. So really neat to see they've incorporated that behind the trim piece itself, and we don't have what would be the gas cap over on the bed. Really neat to see that addition. On the gasoline version, there's a really nice indentation in that upper fender flare. You do not get that on the Lightning, more of a smooth design with that lower section. Both of these trucks do have fixed running boards. They're a little bit more beefy on the Lightning. Over on this F150, they are a little bit thinner, and you do get a cargo light on the back of that running board. So you can use this truck at nighttime. Gives you a little bit more light to see, obviously. And then the overall side design for the Lightning has a very, very similar design. That line running in the lower section of the side skirt as well as the lower section of the bed matches almost identical to this F150. So they have a really, really similar design to them. Almost the same taillight design from the side. This one's a little bit more smooth. We have a little bit more notches over on the Lightning version. And then moving on to the rear end of the gasoline version for the F150, you can see that stamped right in the middle. This has a backup camera with the release for that tailgate. body colored bumper with all of the parking sensors, and the F-150 can tow right up to around 14,000 pounds, again, just depending on the engine that you go with. And then if we open this up, we have the soft opening tailgate. No bed liner, which is an option that you can get, and with the shorter bed, you can see all of the amount of space that is in the back. And then this doesn't close by itself, so you do have to close it, but it is very easy to do that. And over on the F-150 Lightning, F-150 is stamped just like over on the other truck. The reverse lights, though, are right on each side of the backup camera. There is a button that you can use to release that. This has LED taillights with the connector bar running right through the middle. You do not see that and won't see that on the gasoline version for the F-150. This has the body colored end caps for the bumper as well as the backup sensors. And this has a towing capacity up to around 10,000 pounds, just depending on whether you go with the standard range or the extended range. Now you can double tap the button on the key fob and the tailgate will open up. On the Platinum version, you can do that as well. And then for the same size bed, this has the spray and bed liner. A lot more electrical components though to be able to hook up items as needed. We have the spray and bed liner, a lot of tie down hooks, and then this has the multi-purpose tailgate, which again, you can get on the Platinum. So we have that bed step that makes it much easier to enter and exit. And with this truck, you can double tap the key fob and it will automatically close the tailgate. So you don't even have to lift a finger, just push on the button and it will automatically close. As we move on to the interior now, for the gasoline version with this particular F-150, we do have the larger center screen. Gives you a lot of nice information that you can go through. All the climate controls are nicely laid out up underneath, as well as volume and tuning. There's a 12-volt and a 3-prong outlet. A little bit of space down in the lower section as well. And this particular truck does have the center console flip up. So when you put the center shifter all the way down, you can actually flatten that and have a really nice flat workspace for your computer, eating food, any items like that. And this does not have a digital gauge cluster for this model. However, you can get that obviously on the Platinum model. So we have the gauges on both sides with that center screen. Leather is also an option as well. So we have a really nice gauge cluster and interior for this gasoline version for the F-150. Now, as we make our way over to the all-new F-150 Lightning, this has a really premium feeling interior for this Platinum model. Heated and ventilated seats, the two-tone leather. This has the digital gauge cluster, obviously, which has a lot of awesome information to go through, as well as the 15.5-inch center gauge screen. And right now, we can look at the intro. So when you open up the door, you can see those graphics, which is really cool. This is my first time seeing this as well. I did not know that it did that. And with it done, you can obviously tell how much bigger and even in a different configuration this screen is. Over on the gasoline version, it's more horizontal. This is more vertical, as you can tell. And then in the lower section is a wireless charging pad, a little bit more storage. We have the same design basically for the center area. This even has the flip up for the center. So like I mentioned earlier, it can go completely flat. I just don't have the vehicle turned on at the moment. So much more updated. Obviously, we're not looking at a Platinum, but the interior for that Platinum will look very similar to this, minus the screen design and obviously that digital gauge cluster, but definitely a nice interior. And then as we move over to the back seats now for the gasoline version, have a lot of space. I love that on all the F-150s, you can flip up that seat, giving you a lot of storage. It's a nice flat surface to put all of those items. This truck even has some more outlets in the back, so that way you can charge electronics as needed. We do have that solid rear glass, and at 5'10", I still have plenty of room. So both of these trucks are going to be identical as we make our way over to the Lightning, but definitely a lot of space for your backseat passengers. Split design in that door panel too, so that way you can add even more items. And then over on this all new Lightning, like I mentioned earlier, with these specs being virtually identical for the sizing, this isn't going to be too different. Same design for the door panel, as you can tell. These seats do flip up just like you saw. However, this truck has that shelf, which you can get again in the gasoline version, so that way it makes it a little bit more practical, a little bit more capable for the items that you like to place in the back. This truck has heated seats in the back, very similar layout with all of the electronics there that you can use to hook up. We have the same storage pocket. Definitely a similar interior with the electronic sliding rear glass though, which again, you can get in the gasoline version. But with the exterior and the interiors now wrapped up, between the gasoline version for the F-150 and the all-new Ford Lightning. Let's get both of these out on the road and see how they drive. As we set off now in the gasoline version for the F-150, this has a really nice interior. I do like how on the Lightning, everything is pretty much incorporated into that screen. On this model here, we have all of the buttons for the climates down below. So obviously it is much different, and the Lightning version is a little bit more technology focused, especially having that larger screen. But aside from that, they pretty much ride and drive very similar. I just finished doing the full detailed review on the Lightning. So if you'd like to see all of the further specs, definitely check out that video that's down in the description. And with this V8 engine, I know a lot of truck owners really want the 5-liter V8 in their truck, and especially with Ford, you do get the 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, which is essentially a twin turbo V6. So I'm kind of glad that we have the V8 to test. For all you truck guys, we can hear what this exhaust note sounds like. So here we go with a mild acceleration with this V8. And I know that is the exhaust note that truck enthusiasts do want. They want that V8 powered F-150 that can tow a lot, very capable, but it gives you that exhaust note that you're looking for if you want a truck like this. So it's very capable, it sounds great, pretty decent on the MPG. Obviously it's a pickup truck, so that is going to be not the greatest compared to other vehicles, but obviously if you're buying a truck, you want to use it for those practicalities. But aside from that, it's a very nice truck to be behind the wheel of. You don't really hear the engine that much. You can hear the exhaust, obviously, when you step on it like I did. But it's a pretty quiet truck overall. And the turning radius is what you would expect for a pickup truck. It's going to be very similar when we get behind the wheel of the Lightning, but we do have the full screen for the backup camera. So keep that in mind when we switch over to the Lightning. But great graphics, very maneuverable even in a tight situation like this. But let's give it one more acceleration. And we do have that 10-speed automatic as opposed to the single speed in the Lightning. But it's a great truck. It's a nice interior. You have a lot of different trim levels to go with, from an SXT all the way up to the Platinum version, just depending on the technology that you want to go with. You can still get the adaptive cruise, lane keeping assist, all of that standard safety technology that is available in the Lightning, you can get in the gasoline version. And as we hop in now, first thing you'll notice, there is no noise. That is your startup for the F-150 Lightning. We get those chimes and it lights up in green that you are ready to go. So that way you know you can put it into gear and now take off. So with a very tight, almost, yep, we made it, very tight turning radius, which is great to see. So right off the bat, as you can tell with that center screen, much different of a configuration. I really like how all of those buttons are on that center screen. It just gives it more of a luxury feel, in my opinion. Being a all-electric, fully electric vehicle, it's nice to see that technology and just kind of how minimal it is, but everything is there that you need. So much different design than the larger screen option for the gasoline version. And what's neat about this F-150 is you can actually go into the driving modes. There are 2 driving modes to choose from. We have normal and sport, and you can even turn on the propulsion sound, which basically gives you an exhaust note in a sense. So from sport mode, here we go. And there is no way that the gasoline version can compete with the amount of power that this electric pickup truck puts down. This is going to be way quicker in every sense, up to 60, 70 miles an hour. After that, depending on the engine for the gasoline version, like the Raptor, it could probably start to pull a little bit. Having that gasoline engine to keep you going versus the electric batteries, but there is no comparison with how quickly this can get up to speed. It is mind-blowing, and it's also pretty cool how you can turn on the exhaust note and turn it off. So when you shut it off, there's pretty much no sound. And then with the propulsion sound, it's very interesting. It definitely sounds like an engine. It's just hard to pick apart what kind of engine it is. It's not a V8 or anything. And then with this one, we have the top-down view as well, which you can get in other gasoline versions. And with another acceleration, here we go. Not even half throttle. This is way more capable than what I'm throwing at it today, but it is incredibly quick and it's not loud. If you're a tech person, you like the electric side of vehicles and you want something that's still capable, electric or gasoline, they're both going to be similar. They have similar characteristics to them. You can tow more with the gas. You can still tow a good bit with the electric version. You can hook up a lot more components to this. You can use this as a generator if you need to. Taking it to a job site, you can actually use the truck itself versus having a generator in the back of your gasoline version. So it really just depends on what your preference is and what you need. I think it's so cool that we have this all-new electric F-150 just to show how technology is evolving and improving, and to show that you can still be a truck guy and have an electric vehicle that's almost pretty much just as capable and quicker. So there is the bragging rights for how fast this truck is. So definitely a fun truck to check out. Once again, a huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing both of these trucks for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. All that info is down in the description. Comment down below. Are you a gasoline version type of person for the F-150, or are you excited for the all-new F-150 Lightning? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts between electric and gas. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's review. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.